Mike Carter, my colleague and co-host of Pirate Money Radio, will join me for analysis in the third segment of this show. We'll study the election results. Mike is a co-founder of the NSIC Institute and helping lead the charge on many of our economic war room projects. But first, let me introduce Lieutenant Colonel West. Colonel West, you've been fighting for freedom your whole career. Thank you for joining us here in the Economic War Room.
It's my pleasure to be with you, Kevin. Thank you.
You know, what are your initial thoughts? We had a big Republican election win. There's still congressional races trailing in, but Trump won. Do you think he got a mandate?
Yeah, he absolutely got a mandate. And one of the things I look at is that, when you take the most unpopular vice president coming out of the most unpopular presidential administration, and you think you're going to pull the wool over the American people's eyes, I think that that's what you saw last night with the response from the American people. They're concerned about the issues. They're not concerned about identity politics. And when you look at the crosstabs of the support to President Trump, it is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, well, she took both sides of every issue. I mean, so dramatically that they ran one advertisement in Michigan and a different one in Pennsylvania so she could be both pro-Hamas and pro-Israel at the same time, which is nonsense. She was pro-fracking and anti-fracking. She was pro-guns and anti-guns. We really know what she stood for, though. Do you think, I believe she's an absolute Marxist trained by her father, who was a Marxist economist. What are your thoughts?
No, you're absolutely right. And you look at all her policies, and there were two things that condemned her to the fate that she experienced last night. Number one, the interview with Dana Bash on CNN, when she said my values haven't changed. So I guess we go back to who she said she was in 2019. Then the second one was when she was on The View and Sonny Hostin asked what would she do differently from the Biden administration. She said she couldn't think of a thing. She said she had no regrets. So when you think about all of the policy failures of the Biden administration, she owned it. And she has consistently said that she's been a part of all those decisions. She was the last person in the room with the Afghanistan debacle. So she pretty much so condemned herself. And Kamala Harris is much like a cloud. I mean, you can see a cloud, but if you ever go to try to touch a cloud, there's no substance there whatsoever.
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly right. And, she was at the very end, she was running ads telling women, vote one way and then lie about it, lie to your husbands. I think a lot of women voted against her and voted for Trump, but didn't make that known publicly to the pollsters and others, because he did so much better with so many demographic groups.
Well, there's so much underpolling of President Trump's support, and he's always going to underpoll. And so you go back 4 years ago, going into those final weeks of the election in 2020, Joe Biden's up 7 to 8 points. 4 years prior to that, Hillary Clinton's up 5 to 6 points. So when the propaganda pollsters are telling us that this thing is neck and neck, that lets you believe that Donald Trump had an incredible lead. And furthermore, how condescending to think that the only thing that women care about is dismembering babies in the womb up until the time of birth and lying to their husbands. And also when Barack Obama comes down and tries to scold black men for voting, in their best interest, I think that completely worked against him.
Oh, I absolutely do. I hope this is the end of identity politics. So what's the future look like? If we've got Trump and he wins the House and the Senate, what does that mean for Americans?
It means that Americans will get the 4 years that President Trump had given us previously. You will see the economic security. You will see the energy security, the energy independence come back. You will see a strengthening of our national security, a stronger foreign policy, our domestic security, border security will be better, a focus on our educational freedoms and security. And I think that the most important thing is that now we can think about who else will be replaced on the Supreme Court of the United States of America.